Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, yes I am. I'm a cybernetic medical doctor.
That's not the same thing, Terry said. Terry. No, Seafood Jim. This path has been tried before. I do not know well. I trust that the three of you know what you are doing, however, and the technology could prove useful. But be warned, infection is a very real possibility.
Is the infection still radiation based?
Looks like you're conducting the experiments.
I guess so.
All right.
I have technologies in my body that help me resist such things.
And you may want to eventually share some of those.
I'll set them to start replicating more than needed. I can inject. All I would need to do is get a DNA sample from each of you, pull out the excess, erase my DNA pattern from their DNA database, insert yours. That way they're compatible with your body, and then we inject them into you. Simple.
Is that really a thing that we decided that your cybernetics actually protect you from the infection?
No, I have nanites. Yes, it's one of my aspects. Radiation tolerant. That's why I'm radiation tolerant.
Because he has nanites.
Okay.
I have nanites in my blood.
I would not be opposed to being radiation tolerable.
You want to put robot spiders in my blood?
Actually, I designed mine to not look like spiders.
God.
They look like spider cats.
No, those didn't exist back then.
But you had the foresight to design them.
No, I'm not a prophet.
They look like scorpions.
They look like scorpions. They look like wasps.
They look like
Actually, they look
cats.
like octopus.
There you go, octopi. There's no evil intent with octopi ever.
It is crickets. What are those tree bugs called?
Cicadas? No.
That's the one.
This isn't natural noise anymore.
These are computer noises.
Okay, that was. But I heard this thing sounded like a chirping.
Yeah.
Your phone doesn't count.
This one is quiet.
But before that happens, we should definitely have you conduct the experiments on said thing.
Very well.
Motherfuckers.
What?
Just finish talking as soon as I put something in my mouth.
We do that on purpose.
What is making the computer noises?
Meanwhile, in orbit. Thank you for the segue, Sharon.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in orbit. On what looks to be an observation deck, looking out over the planet from space. You figure. You hear the sound of a door opening. And then footsteps, and then a voice onto the observation deck. That moves. The shadow moves from by the window. You have something of interest? One of our scout patrols has fallen into a canyon. They did what? Their beacons were at the edge of the canyon, and then they were inside the canyon. send another patrol. That armor isn't cheap to make. Yes, sir. And more footsteps. Closes.
And the droids get back to their coffee break. No.
So, the next dawn, you guys travel for like maybe an hour or so, and end up in front of a cave. And you guys go in a little ways, and the Braves make camp. They basically pull everything into the cave. They set up some stuff, and they light torches. And they had one to Terry, and they had 1, 2, 3 of you. And Sifu Jim and you guys and Terry head inside. After a short way, the ground actually stops being dirt and turns into metal plates. Yes.
Can I have a utility flashlight? It seems like that would be a thing that we would have had in the spaceship.
Do my arms have flashlights?
No, your arms have lasers.
If I just charge the laser, it's giving off light.
You can also melt something. I
don't know, I'm kind of reluctant to bring a torch into the computer.
I will say that sadly, yes, you do have flashlights, aka torches in the UK.
Okay.
However, you did not bring one. You have torches!
Alright.
Torches. And presumably Terry, who's been here many, 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 many times, is carrying a torch. So, not that bad.
I don't know how the computers turn on if there's no electricity.
That's a very good point. So, it turns into metal. You can... There's, like, dirt everywhere. Some rocks have punched through the metal in some places, and like just kind of fallen into rubble. You guys see, like on one wall, the letters LOA, and then the rest is just smeared and covered up. And then there's a door. And to the right of the door, there's what looks like a touch monitor that is cycling very slow. The refresh rate is very, very slow. So you can literally watch the screen. Okay, and it flickers every once in a while. And Sifu Jim stops. And Terry stands in front of the door. He says, "From here on, it's Terry with the three of you. I will wait here until you come."
Okay.
Okay.
Very well.
Terry approaches the door. And there's that noise. Yeah, there's a weird chirping from the door. He approaches, he says, actually, no. You hear some more chirps and strange noises. And then Terry says, that happens. And then Terry says, my name is Terry. I am son of Sue, who was the daughter of Jane, who was the daughter of Abe, who was the son of Mary. And he goes on for like 15 generations. Ending with who was of the cloth. And with me is Dr. Citron, Naomi Nisbet, and Tara Shepard. Comrade Tara Shepard. These mics are open.
Then as we try to walk through it, it closes on us.
And campaign over.
Campaign over.
I explode.
Then we're all really dead. We were already dead because we were crushed, so now we're really dead because we're now little bits.
Crushed little bits.
Yeah.
First little bit. Are you still dragging the corpse? Oh, yeah, the
Yes.
Braves are not going to look after the corpse, by the way.
No, I assumed I saw the corpse with me.
Yeah.
I need to take it in so I can dissect it.
Yeah, we have to take it to whatever the med bay is.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys enter. On the screen, by the way, that Sifu Jim was kind of interacting with as you guys go in and you turn around. You see what looks like a spoked hub with different rooms on the outside. With different rooms on the outside. That's it. There's the hub in the middle, there's the ring that connects all the rooms. That doesn't go all the way around, though. Or it goes this way. It doesn't connect this way. And then there's rooms around the edge. And then he taps on something and it brings up this wall of text. Basically. As you guys enter, there's more darkness. And there is another tunnel. It's about 75 feet. 75 yards.
So confused as to the nature of this facility. Does it look like it was built into the cave? Or does it look like there was another facility that has been covered by this mountain, either by nature or artifice? Does it look like spaceship landed here and then it got the other previous option where it came over it?
Or the mountain came over it. At this point, it's hard to tell. Well, actually, it would be a physical sciences role to tell.
I think that's you and me.
That is me.
I think
So
that's right.
Terry,
Yeah, what you can tell is you're operating on emergency power, and that's hazy at best. The emergency lights flicker and occasionally just short out. As you're walking by one of them, just like, and just dies. There's little to no lighting, except from the torches. So,
Where's the power supply?
Yeah, that should probably be,
dying. To be quite frank.
I could probably fix it.
one doesn't typically fix batteries.
Well, the batteries are dead. There is a generator, but we don't go there.
Where's that?
It's on the bottom level.
It's clearly in the forbidden zone.
we need to go.
I can probably fix it.
Why don't we learn why this place is so terrifying and nobody else will enter it before we go traipsing about in forbidden zones? Which I have done. Forbidden zones.
Forbidden zones?
There might be, like, radiation or mutants.
I'm fine with radiation.
What if there is a giant bipedal cat that wears fancy clothing walking around down there? You don't know.
But then he could be a cat in a hat.
No, that is not the reference. And
I look around
hate
for
you.
the title Red Dwarf.
There you go. I don't want to know.
Now we know why you were at the altar.
That's why I left you at the altar.
See, all
You were about to
because
say something to Terry, though.
I was about to ask him that question.
Oh, wait, why is the power? Why is the power gone?
Well, when you said it requires a physical science roll, and I said, so Terry.
Oh, I see.
I was
Oh.
about to ask him the question that I postulated to you.
You may roll if you would like.
oh, yeah, I can.
So,
And then also, why is this place foreboding?
yeah. So Naomi's just like, so, did this land here? Was this built into the mountain? What? How did this get here in the first place? And Terry stops, and he's like, oh god, that's centuries of history ago. Would you like to just make it up?
Yep, you can answer that question, sweetie.
Oh, is that how it got here?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
There is one caveat.
What's that?
There may or may not be engines somewhere.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Everything else is your go.
So, what actually happened, my captain, is the spaceship decided to crash as it attempted to time travel to go back and stop the plague. And it phased into the mountain on this planet. They also forgot coordinates.
I super don't want to go down to the engine room now. I thought we Evented Horizon the last time. I ain't playing with this shit. You have fun with that. Here,
Totally
here's your
want to see
corpse.
the engine.
You can take your corpse and go down to the
Forbidden Zone.
Eldritch engine room. It's on floor E.
As you guys reach a secondary door, feel free to ask Terry about the Forbidden Zone whenever you want.
Why are the Forbidden Zones forbidden?
Because they are. Okay, so everybody left on Rogucon carries a genetic marker on them. In them, I should say. Except for a select few people who have the opposite genetic marker. The entryway systems are able to detect that genetic marker.
So they just won't let you through unless you have it.
Yes, the door won't open unless you have that genetic marker.
I like to roll.
You guys have neither genetic marker, so the doors don't respond.
Do you have this genetic marker?
Yes, that's how he was able to get it.
Yes. But that's why Seafood Jim can't come in here.
Do you theoretically let him in? You open the door? No?
He has the opposite genetic marker, it'll close on him.
It won't close on us because we don't have either.
I see.
Which,
So, you have a genetic marker that prevents you from going to the keep on pronouncing it the Forbidden Zone?
No, that's forbidden because we just don't. There's centuries of oral history about we don't go into the Forbidden Zone. You die if you go into the Forbidden Zone. The Forbidden Zone is not safe.
It's poisonous? It's full of mutants?
It might be full of air from
It's
our.
full of Cthulhu?
There's any number of different myths. But the point is, the Forbidden Zone is forbidden for a reason. It's deadly.
Or we could just uncover the solar panels. The spaceship has solar panels.
yeah, I don't know how many tons of rock that's going to be, and it would probably be visible from space.
Well, I don't know how big the spaceship is.
It's big.
Yeah, so it could have phased into the mountain and be maybe only a few feet below the surface of the mountain. Because it's huge and takes up the entire mountain. Did you think of that?
I did, but I also thought maybe it's more underneath the mountain than anything else.
Maybe
it is,
it's both.
I should say that it is kind of in a plateau of the size on which it's landing. So, yeah, there's a lot of rock just around and chilling out. Like it's cool. Like rock does.
So where's the medical bay?
Yes, let's start there.
Good question. Hold on a sec. He taps on a door plate, and the door opens. The door opens into a dome of earth. The center area is domed with what looks like glass. You see nothing but darkness.
So, colony ship.
In the center, however, well, if it was a colony ship, you'd expect plants here, but there is not. You can actually see, that's not true. You can see plants. The top parts are covered in dirt, and it looks like they run into something, and the dirt settles outwards because you can see plants, like, coming up the edges Just at the very edge of your torchlight, you can see vines crawling up the edges of this dome. In front of you, there are several. Well, to your sides and in front of you, there are several defunct computers. One of them is actually active at this point, and same thing. It's got a really slow refresh rate, so literally watch it just kind of roll up.